All right, I'd like to address a question to you, Rene. I've always found your journey fascinating. I've followed various things that you've done that were very controversial and admired your courage in saying what you mean and going for it, even if you got in deep doo-wah. Okay? You know what I mean? You're going for it, and I love that, all right? So, tell us what drives your courage and creativity, and where do you see the future of jazz singing going?
Okay. What drives my courage and creativity? In a word, desperation.
Desperation.
Because I am desperate to express my inner truth. I'm just compelled to do it.
Can I offer another word?
What is it?
Passion.
Okay, desperate passion.
Desperate sounds like oh no.
It's yes,
But, yeah, it
it's
is
passion, and I'm glad you said that because my approach to music is the same as my approach to those amorous.
So you must be good in bed. Yeah.
We're not going there, Ann.
Why not?
Maybe later. So the thing about it, I think, I was raised under Jim Crow laws the first 10 years of my life. For those of you who are young and don't know what Jim Crow laws are, that is the apartheid that existed in parts of the United States where blacks and whites could not share the same this, that, or the other. So my parents were very subtly but actively involved in protesting that. Even though they were both taught at the school and their jobs were at risk. And I think that's where I got my determination, like, you know what? I cannot sit silently and sing about all these happy love songs, which is what I was doing when I first started singing. Singing about being in love and other people's songs. I got something else to say, and I know I can't be the only one thinking it or feeling this way, so I'm going to write my own song about it since I can't find none in the Great American Songbook. And I'm just being honest because I've often wondered, like, how come these songs is the Great American Songbook? I don't see nothing in here that represents my great American life. So anyway, that's what drives me. And then various things happened in my life where at the time it was happening, I was thinking, this is an obstacle. But it was not an obstacle. What it was someone handing me a gift that wasn't gift wrapped the way I expected a gift to be wrapped. And when I would take away all the part that was bothering me and looked inside, I was like, oh, what a beautiful gift. This is awesome. So when presented with those what appeared like an obstacle or a challenge, and again, the fear, come on fear, let's go, we got shit to do. Let's go ahead and do this. Each time, another door opened, and then another door, and then another door. So I just be looking for the open doors, When I see the open door, even though it's not in my 5-year plan or considered a project, I'm not worried about that because I just have to continue resonating with the truth. Does that answer?
Yeah.
You're the truth's errand girl.
Yeah. Can you also tell me where you think the future of jazz singing is heading? I mean, do you have, from everything that you see going on, our repertoire has been changing? It's just a lot of changes going on. Do you have an opinion about that?
I don't have an opinion, and
Okay.
whenever, not about that question, because whenever interviewers ask me, where do you see the future of jazz? My answer is, I don't know. It's kind of like that. I'm not irritated, but I came into it late, and I didn't even have a concept of what that there was even a question like that existing. So when I'm asked it, I just go, well, it's going to go the same way it's always been. It's music, it's art.
Okay.
Well, it's going to keep going.
All right. And that is your answer. Absolutely. Well, I'm not looking, there isn't one single answer. There's many questions we have in our, struggle to get out there, our joy of performing, our deciding what our next project's going to be.
Right.
All the things we think about. There's much to talk about, but that's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Roseanna.
Ann Hampton. Since you're so well known for singing the Great American Songbook, you, like you said, you perform in so many different situations, in orchestras, jazz venues. What I love about you is that always your ability to reach mass audiences. You are not worried about necessarily somebody considering you a jazz singer or a pop singer. You sing great and you just go out there, like you said, with a lot of love. But because you're someone that's well known for the American Songbook, how do you continue to bring new life to the American Songbook? You're singing some of those same songs that Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan sang, and Billy Eckstine, and you must be thinking, how am I going to bring new life into this? And then and how do you deal with purists? We have all these different camps in jazz, right? All the purists where if you sing, a James Taylor song or a Joni Mitchell song, all of a sudden you've committed some kind of jazz sin, that you're a traitor now, and that's not really jazz. Like we don't know what jazz is.
Right.
So how do you make the standards new? And do you think anything about, the purist? And when you present a more pop song from the 60s or 70s, do you say anything about it in your show, or are you just straight ahead?
Well, first of all, one thing that hasn't been said about me is that I am a songwriter, and I write a lot of songs, and I will tell you that because I'm so associated with the Great American Songbook, I have hundreds of songs that no one's ever heard. And it's right now really on my mind. It's like I have spent so much time celebrating the legacy of our great country's music, of jazz and theater and the Great American Songbook. And I think, I'm 56 years old. I just had cancer 2 years ago. It might be really good for people to know what's on my mind. So I did a show. Thank you. I did a show last year called Turning Points at 54 Below, and I decided to just come out with my life. I talked about being married to a woman. I talked about my breast cancer. I talked about my parents' divorce. And I found songs. It's a really interesting challenge to try to find the songs that would be exciting and musical and a lovely array. When I do an act, I think that, how we have chakras, we have I don't know how many of you know about chakras, but the 7 energy centers. And I think a great show, a great work of art, should have an aspect of all those centers. So when I create a show, an album, a concert, I try to reflect the little girl, the goddess, the lover, the muse, the warrior, all these different sides of the archetypal parts of who we are, which is so exciting. And I want to be just as excited as the audience when I'm sharing these stories. So anyway, I'm trying as I get older to be more personal, and the more I can reveal about myself and be honest and be comfortable in my bones, I think it gives other people the courage to say, hey, she's up there doing her thing and people seem to enjoy it. Maybe I can do that too. But when I start with a song, like My Funny Valentine is a perfect example. It's been sung a million times, but I found out something that changed my entire feeling about it. When Lorenz Hart wrote the words for this Richard Rodgers melody that was to be in a show called Babes in Arms, he was a closeted homosexual who was 5'2", alcoholic, lonely, never found the love he was looking for. He put a mirror in front of himself and he said, what do I want my future love to say to me? What a beautiful, beautiful story. What a great inspiration for writing songs. So when I sing that song, it is the most naked, vulnerable, like, am I lovable? Would you please love me? Oh, the feelings that I had so much growing up, and to this day I still have, even though I'm married and found the love of my life. So those kinds of discoveries, which you can always find in research, in stories, and in the words themselves. The lyric, it's like, what does this lyric mean to me now? What do I need to say about this? It's going to be different than last night. It's going to be different than 3 years ago. So I look at words, and I start with the words, and then I think, well, I did a tribute to Sarah Vaughan, one of the greatest jazz singers in the world. How audacious is that? But I'm passionate about this woman, and I don't think she's easy to understand. I found out before I put my show together that I was at her last engagement, and that she had just found out she had terminal lung cancer. And I remember how she sang "Send in the Clowns," and I thought, wow, that was some, gravitas like I've never seen before. And I thought, well, that's why she sang it that way. So when I was like, well, how do I sing "Send in the Clowns?" I kept racking my brain, trying all these things. Finally, I said, well, let's just put it to minor. And it turned out to be Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, "Send in the Clowns." And it is, to me, one of my favorite things I've ever done. Because I told a story about a woman I'm passionate about, and I got to reveal something of myself. And so that's where the lyric and the stories, they all come together to make these incredible creative discoveries. And you get a whole night of them, and it's exciting for your band, it's exciting for you, you're never bored. And the audience feels the passion and the love and the turmoil of being human, and we all get to be together in that moment. So that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, there it is.